Happy Friday. It is 5 Tip Friday, and today we're going to be talking about how to stop comparing yourself to others, which I think is just such an important topic. I think everybody can relate to feeling down after they've compared themselves to someone else. So let's start with a great quote as it relates to comparison, which is, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Preach. I can't say this enough. It is so accurate, so true. And I want to give you guys a little bit of context too. When I was in grad school, we learned about this theory called social comparison theory. And I'm going to read off of it so I don't butcher it and I really get it all right. But it's basically a theory that talks about the process of people coming to know themselves by evaluating their own attitudes, abilities, and traits in comparison to others. So I wanted to note that because that is, it's almost human nature. We really, from such a young age, observe other people and really assess ourselves as it relates to other people and really try to figure out ourselves by looking at others saying like, oh yeah, that resonates with me, that doesn't. So comparison is really human nature, but I think it can get to a destructive point when you're comparing and left feeling inferior or insecure afterwards. So we're gonna walk through 5 tips to hopefully help in situations where you are comparing yourself and to try to avoid comparing yourself. So the first tip is to just have awareness of your tendency to compare. I think that awareness is the first step in changing anything. Without awareness about it, you can't change anything. So I think just having that awareness of, what kind of mood you're in, how's your day is going when you compare yourself, how life is in the present moment when you're comparing more or less, and really try to identify themes in your comparison. So are you comparing yourself to your friends? Are you comparing yourself to your colleagues? Are you comparing yourself to people higher up in the field? Are you comparing yourself to bloggers? Just really try to identify and gain awareness in your comparison. Step number 2 is recognize that surface level comparisons aren't always accurate. They're usually never accurate. We can't compare other people's outsides to our insides, and you really don't know where someone else is at in their journey. Like a lot of the times people don't share them crying or them having a really hard time or share that they just lost their job or that they're really struggling with depression. There are people out there that do share those things, but my dogs are barking. But at the surface level, people usually keep those things inside, and social media makes this really hard because it's like a highlight reel of everybody's lives. And so when you're scrolling, you're seeing someone got engaged, someone's pregnant, someone just had a baby, someone just bought a house, and you're left like, great, So just know that at the surface, it doesn't always usually doesn't paint an accurate depiction of reality. So just remember that. And I will say, someone told me this a really long time ago, but they were like, if you're scrolling, like any profiles on social media that you leave feeling less than or like not great about yourself, like you need to unfollow yesterday, okay? Like have no second thoughts about it, have no guilt or shame that you needed to unfollow. Like we need to be creating feeds that are empowering and encouraging and promoting vulnerability and authenticity and like realness and rawness, okay? So if you need to go through your follower list and start deleting people, that is totally fine. You have my permission to do so, okay? Step number 3 is accept where you are. We really talked about this last week, where we were talking about accepting your situation and just your reality and kind of like surrendering and letting go to sit in your present moment. I think that's really what we're talking about here. Just accepting where you are and really appreciating your journey. Step number 4 is to build yourself up. Let's be our biggest cheerleaders, people. Let's practice self-love. Let's do affirmations. Let's do gratitudes. Let's speak kind things over ourselves. We need to really be our biggest cheerleaders in life and be on your own side and really just like admire yourself just as you admire other people in the world, okay? And tip number 5 is take ownership of your story. So I One of my friends told me this earlier this year when we were going through our second round of IVF, and we had suffered our second miscarriage, and it was just really a heartbreaking time for my husband and I and our whole family. And one of my friends who was also going through the IVF process with me, she was talking to me and really just supporting me and said, you know what, I know that it's heartbreaking and I know that it's hard, but one day you will get to a place where you can look back and realize that of all the stories in the world, like, you wouldn't change yours at all. And that if you had the choice to pick between someone else's story and your story, you would still choose your story of your life every single day. And when she painted that picture for me, I was like, damn, like, you're right. You are right. Like, life is hard. We go through challenging seasons and heartbreaking things, and we grieve, and we have loss and sadness and anger and fear and all those things. But I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't choose any other story other than my own. And, I think that really brings me back to this place of being grateful for my life, even despite the challenging seasons. So I hope you loved all of these tips. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. I love you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Mwah.